Now, when we talk about blessings from the Lord, when we say we are expecting blessings from the Lord, when we say we are expecting God to bless us, when we are looking for criteria for who God will bless, it all starts from the heart. It all starts from where? The heart. That is God's first focus, attention. That's why many times many of you are disappointed that you mean God did not see anybody. Are you sure it is God that picked this person? Because based on your own understanding and the look and the appearance and everything, that person is not qualified. He doesn't even have the energy, he doesn't have the right physique, he doesn't have everything that he needs to occupy that position. But God says, I'm not interested in the look, I'm not interested in the physique, I'm interested in the heart. Because you see, when you have a good heart, I can teach you how to govern. I can teach you how to rule. I can teach you every other thing. A good heart is a foundation for every good thing. But a bad heart, a corrupt heart, an evil heart, if you go and hand over blessing to a corrupt and evil heart, he will do it to do further evil. Am I making sense to you? Are you following me this morning? If you want to be blessed and you want to enjoy the very best of God, please, first and foremost, you must have a good heart. You must have a good heart. David said something. He said, God, I didn't know when my heart became this bad. He was already a king. His good heart handed him that position, but somehow something came to him and corrupted that good heart. So when I didn't know when my heart turned this back, you mean I could take my subordinate's wife, at the same time kill him? When did I become this bad? He said, God, you know what? Take this evil heart away from me. Obviously, because of this evil heart, I now entertain an evil spirit. You see, a bad heart can only give room for a bad spirit. There is no way a bad heart can give room for a good spirit. A good spirit will never dwell in a bad heart. It's not a good habitation for it. Are you following me? So when you see people with a bad heart, know definitely that they have bad spirits in them. They have evil spirits in them, because evil spirits dwells in a bad heart. So David said, God, take this out of me. I want a new. I don't even want it repaired. Create in me a new heart. Some of you need to ask God to give you a new heart, not repair your heart. Totally remove that heart. And he says, then renew a right spirit, because the spirit that is actually operating in you, this bad, that is a wrong spirit. The wrong spirit cannot take you anywhere. It can only land you in destruction. If you are hearing me, shout hallelujah. It can only rob you of blessing. Indeed, the wrong spirit removes you from God's presence. Deny you of access to God's presence. Many people think that because they go to the altar, they pray, they come to church, they lift up their hands, they dance, they think they're in God. You are not in God's presence if your heart is not right. Because when your heart is evil, you will have a wrong spirit. How can the wrong spirit praise God and you expect God to move in the heavens? Many times people gather in church and are praising God with the wrong heart and a wrong spirit, with an evil heart and the wrong, and they're expecting the move of the Holy Spirit, when in between them there is evil, there is corruption, there is jealousy, there is envy, there is backbiting, there is gossiping, and they're expecting the move of the Holy Spirit. If there is any move at all, it's your imagination or your feeling. It is not the Holy Spirit, it's just you. It's not the Holy Spirit. And it's time we stop fooling ourselves. It's time we stop deceiving ourselves. It's time we start telling ourselves the truth. What kind of spirit operates in your heart? First and foremost, what kind of heart is in you? You say you come to church, you are not blessed. You say church, things are not happening in your life. Check your heart, because God will look at your heart first. Are you following me this morning? David knew that with that day, a new heart and the right spirit, he's losing it already. He's about to lose it. Many people have lost it. Many people are losing it with a bad heart and a corrupt spirit. But because they are praying, they sick, they're still standing, they are gone. It's only a matter of time. Are you following me this morning? Now I want to tell you a story. A story that all of you know very well. It's in Luke 11, Luke 15, 11 to 32. Luke 15, 11 to 32. Amen. And it's about the story of the prodigal son. The prodigal son. And this I can liken this to the situation in the church today. His older son was in the field. As he was coming back to the house, he had music and dancing. He called one of the servants and asked what was happening. The servant told him, your brother has come home. Now this man had two sons. And one I said to the father, I'm old enough, I can look after myself, give me my inheritance, I want to leave. And the father gave him his inheritance, and he left, and he went to squander the money on prostitutes and on bad living. And he had suffered, and later he came back to his senses, and he said, I will go to my father's house and tell him to hire me as one of his servants that I'm not even qualified to be called his son. Amen. I will go to him and tell him to hire me as one of his servants. And he went to his father, expecting to be chastised, expecting to be abused, but was ready to take it in. Rather, the father ran to him and embraced him and said, it is time for celebration. It was contrary to his expectation. And certainly contrary to what the brother too expects. Because you see, the mindset of both of them is not the way the father is thinking. I tell you one thing, beloved, the way you are thinking, the way she is thinking is different from the way God is thinking about that situation. And you had better understand it carefully. Because many times you are thinking this way, you think that's the way God should be thinking. She's thinking this way, she thinks that's the way God is thinking. And when God comes up with a totally different plan, one is surprised, one is angry. Do you get what I'm saying? So the father, the younger brother had music. He was coming from the farm. He had labored all the night, all the day, tired and hungry. And here he had music. I said, what is going on? His father doing something. If father was doing any celebration, it ought to be about him, as far as he was concerned. It wasn't his birthday. It wasn't anything. So I said, what's going on? Say your younger brother came back after and you know, those who will go and tell him the story, you can imagine the way they will tell him the story. Hey, have you heard what happened? What's going on? It's not your brother that came back that the father started troubling him to go and make party for him. The boy who did this, the boy who did that, the boy, and you they are suffering. Your father says you can do part. I've always told you that father doesn't like you. He cares one about. Can you imagine? So you that have been serving him, you are a fool. That's usually the line. So the father said, so he got angry. And he wouldn't go into the house. He was that angry that he wouldn't go into the house. He was that angry that he would not go back to the church because pastor overlooked the sin of someone and said, why? Even though he is in church, but his spirit is not in church because he's busy angry. Why should pastor just overlook the matter like that? Are we all fools? After he had done this, after he had done that, and he came back and pastor still embraced him. Why? Why? Now, I need you to pay attention to this carefully. At first, when I mentioned this story, you will think it was about the prodigal son. Am I right? About the son. That, okay, we know where it's going. It's not about the enemy. And when you relate it to the topic, when it's not about the enemy, of course now, he was one that messed up. He suffered. That's why he's going towards it. So it's not about the enemy. Straight end of the story. But listen carefully. It is not about the prodigal son. It is about the brother. It is not about the one who had messed up. It is about the one who think he's righteous. it is not about the one that they say is not righteous. Today is about the one that feels he is righteous and right standing. Everyone at one point in time have that feeling, I'm better than the others, after all I'm more righteous, after all I'm on this. And because of your feeling, you start having a feeling of entitlement. I'm entitled to this, I'm entitled to that. I'm coming to that. So he got angry. Dad, why? I've labored, I've suffered for you all this while. Not once have you given me a cow, not once have you given me a ram, not once have you given me to even celebrate with my friends. And here comes your son who has messed up all your money on prostitutes. And then you are celebrating him. I'm not coming in. I'm angry. I'm not coming in. I'm not coming in. Now we are told that the father went to appeal to him. No, my son, don't do this. Please come in. Please come in. Please come in. What was his father appealing to? The father was appealing to his heart. No, you can't have this kind of heart. Son, this kind of heart is evil. This kind of heart is dangerous. This kind of heart will lock you out of my blessing. He's already locking you out of my blessing. That is why you are refusing to come into the house. Don't allow this heart to operate. Get rid of this heart. Come inside. He was appealing to the heart, not to the man. He was appealing to his heart, because it was his heart. This was where everything started from. Am I making sense to you? Are you following me? If your heart is not right, it will lock you out of God's presence. It will lock you out of God's blessing. And it starts with the kind of heart you have towards your neighbor. What kind of heart do you have towards your neighbor? How do you see your neighbor? What goes on in your heart when you think of your neighbor? Do you think the worst of him or the best of him? What do you think? Despite the fact that the person is bad, still what goes on in your heart? Is there somewhere in your heart that you are praying for this person to change, or you are praying for something bad to happen to the person so that you can be justified? What is your gain? Am I making sense to you this morning? If you're hearing me, shout hallelujah. I know that many of you this morning, that there are people who have done things for you, or people that you have advised, or you have counseled, or you have done this, or they have messed up somewhere along the line, and you can only wait for something bad to happen to them so that you can feel justified. But that is not the kind of heart that God is looking for to bless. No. He's not looking for such hearts to bless. Rather, he's looking for a heart of compassion, a heart that's ready to overlook and look beyond what that person has done, and rather, despite what that person has done, decides to start as an intercessor for that person, and is always and quick to rejoice when that person turns around and follow God, not the one that gets angry. Are you following me this morning? When you see me rejoice with my children who have messed up and I embrace them, what I expect of you is to rejoice with me. I do not expect you to get angry. That's why. See pastor now. He has embraced him again. He has valued it again. You should rejoice. What was it that the father said? He said, because your brother was dead, now he's alive. He was lost, now he has been found. Shouldn't you rejoice? You can see, beloved, the focus of the senior brother was on the wealth that he thinks the junior brother is now coming to share with him, which robbed him of common sense to actually rejoice that his own brother is back. And that, thank God that he didn't get lost. In other words, all the period that the brother was lost, all the period that the brother had gone away, he did not feel the pain of his father. Rather, he was rejoicing that after all he's gone, now it's only me, I'm the only one. He was not thinking about how the father must be feeling. He was only thinking about what he stands to gain. Now him being alone to enjoy everything. How selfish. Is it possible that we in the process of money, in the process of wanting to become great in life, we lose our sense of right judgment? We lose our compassion. Am I making sense to you? The father said you ought to rejoice. He said you ought to rejoice. For your brother was lost, is found. He was dead, now he's alive. Listen carefully, beloved. The father's focus was on the relationship, whereas the brother was all wealth. For the father, the relationship I had with my son that I lost is much more important than the money that is squandered and wasted. So that is back, and I have the relationship back. I'm much more grateful to God for that. Money is money, can go, but there is no way you can compare money to relationship, my brother. Many of you, your focus is about the money. It's not about the relationship. The relationship is more important than the money. What is money? If can't you see? Your brother is gone. He was gone, dead. Now I have him back. Thank God that I have a relationship with him now. Then I lost relationship. Relationship is more important to me. Forget about the money. You are thinking about him coming to share the wealth. That's all your focus. You are not thinking about the relationship you lost because your brother left. Now that he's back, you should be happy that you have your brother, you have your relationship back. That should first of all give you joy. And you see, that is where God is. The position God is in our lives. God, our relationship with God is of more importance to him than money that we are crying about. God, I want money. God, I want this. But God says, have a relationship with me first. Have a relationship with me first. Seek me first. Every other thing will follow. Am I making sense to you? It was first about the relationship. That was the father's focus, and that is today's God's focus concerning us. He wants to have a relationship with us. It's more important to him than the money we are asking him. Many people want to have money, but they're not interested in having a relationship. Typical of relationships today of man and woman. If you try to understand the concept of relationship today as the way the world is today, it is much more about money than about the relationship itself. The friendship is first based on money and not about the relationship. So when there is no money, we can forget friendship. But for God, it's all about the relationship. Now, I remember telling you that some of you need to be in church today because they're going to learn some lessons and you'll be able to decide who and who is in your life. You'll be able to identify and define the relationship you have with many people. You remember? Those of you that got the text. I'm going to dwell a bit on this before I go back to the heart. But I need your attention because it's very important to you. Because after today, you'll be able to analyze who truly is in relationship with you and who is not in relationship with you, based on why they are in relationship with you. Am I making sense to you? What was the problem of this brother? Why was he angry with his father? To the extent that he was not interested in entering the house. He was ready to lock himself out of that blessing. Why? The senior brother's problem was that he had what I call a feeling or a sense of entitlement, which was stronger than having a relationship with his brother. The sense of entitlement was much stronger than having a relationship with his brother. Am I making sense to you? Many people today have a stronger feeling of sense of entitlement than having a relationship with you as a person. Their sense of entitlement, where you are concerned to the things that they believe they should get from you as a result of having a relationship with you or being your friend, is more stronger than the relationship itself. So if that sense of entitlement is not fed, they will burst the relationship. The entitlement, that sense of entitlement, that's what they feel they're entitled to. Whether it is your car, whether it is your money, whether it is your support, whether it is whatever they ask of you, you do. To them, is stronger than the relationship. So if they don't get what they want from you, which they feel is their entitlement, they will burst the relationship, because the relationship to them is not as important as what they feel they have the right to get from you for being your friend. For being an obedient son to you, I'm entitled to everything you own. And it's more important to me than the relationship that I will have with my brother because my brother has come back, or the relationship you're going to have with your son now, because this relationship you have is now a threat to my entitlement. Are you following me this morning? So the father had to counsel him and make him understand the importance of a relationship. That is much more important than this feeling of sense of entitlement that's in your head about you are entitled to all that I own now. Your relationship with your brother should be of more importance to you, more than what you are worried about that he will share with you. Are you following me this morning? What this senior brother and those who have this feeling of sense of entitlement, what they don't understand, beloved, is that without any relationship and sincere appreciation of relationship, there is no benefit that can be derived from the relationship. It all starts with a relationship. They don't understand that the relationship is of more importance than the benefit you get from the relationship that you call your sense of entitlement, that you call your entitlement. There's nothing we are entitled to from God, because our righteousness is like a filthy rag. So whatever we get from God, we consider it as a privilege and grace. So if it's by entitlement, we are not entitled to anything in the first place. But for the relationship we have with him, we become a candidate of grace, and we are privileged for him to have blessed us. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? When people get close to you, many times they find it very difficult to manage the relationship. Rather, they get to a point where they start feeling entitled. After all, I'm your friend, and because of your friend, I deserve this, I deserve that, I'm entitled to this, I'm entitled to that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If you want to succeed in your Christian walk, then you need to run away from those who feel entitled. Those who feel what? Entitled. Because one way or the other, they will end up making you to compromise. They will tell you, don't you think you deserve, don't you think you're entitled to this? Whereas in our relationship with God, we are not entitled to anything. First, God is God because he's our creator, and that's why we worship him. Those with the feeling of entitlement can never appreciate relationship. They can't. Because it's like, I'm entitled to this, you don't give it to me, I'm working out on you. It means my relationship with you is not important enough to keep me with you, despite the fact that I do not get what I expect from you. You don't need such people in your life. Now, many of you will be surprised, beloved, as parents, that the relationship that some of your children have with you is based on sense of entitlement and not the fact that they actually have a genuine relationship. They are quick to walk away from you. At the side that says, daddy says, I'm not giving. Mommy, okay, all right. Then the next one day, the next 1 week, they're not calling you because they feel entitled and you didn't give them what they want. Such relation with such a child, I don't need. Do you get what I'm trying to say? In other words, there is no relationship. You just assume in your head there's a relationship. Really, there is really no relationship. When it is all about what I am entitled to, and if you don't give me, I'm working out on you, there is really no relationship. That is what they call relationship. All this while that the senior brother was serving the father would have thought he had a relationship with the senior brother. After all, he didn't go anywhere. He's with me. Not knowing that the reason why the brother was waiting was because of what he thinks he will get, and he feels he's entitled to. Now, when the thing he feels he's entitled to is not being threatened, he's asking himself, why do I want to continue to hang around this man myself? So it wasn't about the relation so important to him that he wants to stay with his father. It was about what he feels he will get by staying with his father. There are people like that in your life, that their relationship with you today, they are being with you today, is because of what they think they will get from being in relationship with you, not because your relationship with you is so valuable to them that I'm even your friend. I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate the fact that I have you as a friend. I can talk to you. You are my it's not about that. It's about what I'm going to get at the end of the day. What I think I'm entitled to. Are you following me this morning? They will always place their selfish interest ahead of the relationship. Their interest is more important to them than the relationship itself. You don't need somebody like that as a friend. You don't need somebody like that as a husband. And you certainly don't need somebody like that as a wife. And if you have people like that as children, you really don't have a relationship. Because they can walk away from you at any time. Indeed, whatever relationship you think you have is the one you are purchasing with money or with your goodwill. Are you following me? Glory be to the name of God. The senior brother should have been very happy to see his younger brother return, but his feeling of sense of entitlement robbed him of that. He couldn't just see it, because all he was thinking about is what he's about to lose, and he felt what he was about to lose was more important than the fact that his brother is back, the relationship you now have with his brother. A good heart first and foremost appreciates relationship far much more than the benefit that he will get from the relationship. A good heart. Someone that has a good heart towards you first appreciate the fact that Bosun is my friend. I appreciate our relationship. His thinking is not about what I stand to get from Bosun being my friend, but the fact that I have him as a friend. I feel privileged to have him as a friend. Am I making sense to you? So whether I get anything from him or not is irrelevant. But I thank God that I have him as a friend. And so if at any given point in time he does anything that I really do not like, but for the sake of the relationship that I value, I'm not going to work out on him, because I value that relationship. Are you following me? That is the kind of relationship that God wants us to have with him. The one that is not dependent on what we can get from him, but the fact that we really appreciate him as a father. Do you get what I'm trying to say this morning? Let me tell you about Job briefly. The Bible says every time Job's children will make party, will do party, he will quickly go and make a sacrifice just in case they might have sinned and offended God. What do you think Job was doing? He was protecting his relationship with God, that he would not even allow his children to come between him and God. It wasn't about what God was doing for him. It was the fact that he was privileged to have God as his father, as his mentor, as his friend. A whole God being my God, being that nothing must go wrong. That was why even when the devil tempted him, God was saying that this is the reason why this is our relationship. God said no. You see, the test of Job was based on relationship. It was to prove that Job had no relationship with God, but because of money. God said no, he had a genuine relationship. He has nothing to do with money. That was what the test was all about, and Job passed with flying colors, because he was able to prove that it was never about money in the first place. It was about the fact that I have a relationship and I appreciate that relationship with God. So even before the test, he was already protecting the relationship. What effort do you make to protect your relationship with someone that you claim you are in a relationship with? If the relationship that I have with you matters a lot, you'll be very concerned about what anybody can do that can affect that relationship. You will run ahead and make sure that they don't do it. But if it's not important to you, you really do not care if your son messes up that relationship. Are you following me? Am I making sense to you? Are you following me this morning? Glory be to the name of God. Let me give you a life example. Last week Sunday, I spoke about I read a letter in church, remember, about one of my daughters that I was so proud about, that he was spiritually alert and everything. He knew when things was going wrong. Am I making sense to you? But somewhere along the line, I think she got it all wrong. Someone must have, I don't know who messed up her mind. She didn't get it that I was trying to encourage her. She thought I was just probably embarrassing or something. So I explained to her. Then I called the mother to explain to the mother, I don't know why your daughter is having this. And I called the father because I needed to explain to them what was going on. I called the father Monday. He was busy. So I called the mother to come and see me. And the mother left everything and came to see me immediately. We finished the discussion. I spoke to my daughter. We ended the matter. And that was the end of the story. But don't forget, I had told the father to see me on that Monday. And he had said he was far off, somewhere very close to Badagry, so he couldn't come. I said, okay. I told him he was going to. I said, don't worry. Forget it. I will sort it out with your wife. I didn't call him back because I thought the wife would have told him that we've sorted it out. I was in my house on Tuesday. And I received the call from the gate to say he was at the gate. He wanted to come and see me. I said, I hope there's no problem. Because it couldn't have been about the matter of yesterday we have resolved. So I gave him clearance. He came in. I went in to open the door for him. As I was approaching the door, my megad, some his people were there. As I was approaching the door, this my son prostrated right in front of my door, in front of all these people, and saying, "Sir, I'm sorry, sir." I said, "What? Please, please, please." I had to be pulling him to get up. We entered my house. He did the same thing. Sit down. He did the same thing. I explained everything to him. When he was going, I explained it to him. On the main road, everybody was watching. He did the same. He prostrated flat on the floor. What was he doing? He was saying, "This relationship, I can't allow anything to, I don't want the mistake or whatever it is my daughter has done. Tell me why my spirit will not bless him." Because for me, it shows that this is not about anything but about the relationship. He so much valued the relationship that he will not allow anything, not even his child, to mess it up. So I know when I have a relationship with you and when I don't have a relationship with you. When that relationship means something to you, I know. When it doesn't mean anything to you, I know. It depends on how you react when issues happen. Job said to God, "Even though they take my children, even though I suffer bad health, I will not allow you to have my relationship with you. I will still worship you." In other words, the death of my children, which my wife is claiming is coming from you, my suffering, whichever is coming, is coming from you because you could have prevented it, I still will not allow it to affect our relationship. Beloved, when you look at it very well, if you have 100 people, maybe you have only one person in genuine relationship with you. Maybe you only have one that is in genuine relationship with you. If you go by that standard, and there is no other standard to go by it other than that, that is the honest truth with you. Because when you look at it, at the end of the day, we are all just fooling ourselves. People that say they're in relationship with you, they're just fooling you. They're in relationship with you because what they feel that they will get from you or what they are entitled to. When they are denied of that entitlement, Job's wife, why did he walk away with God? Because he felt that by being close to God, they are entitled to his protection and his blessing. And since God has failed, they don't have to have a relationship with him anymore. You don't need such people in your life because they are not genuine, and you don't want fake people around you. If you look by the concept of the church today, truth of the matter is this: if you are looking to look at it, maybe of all the congregation, maybe I have only 10 genuine relationships, because every other person is all about what I think I'm entitled to by being a member of this ministry. Am I reaching you? Am I making sense to you? Those who are close to me will understand that first and foremost, my relationship with them is all about relationship. It's not about what I don't even feel entitled to anything. When I care about them genuinely. I cannot say the same about them, but I know about me, and they can testify to it as well. It's not because of what I think I'm entitled or what I think I can get. Now, look at it carefully, beloved. My son could have said, "Well, why do I even need to go and see him on Tuesday? He'll be in church on Wednesday." Abi? I live in Sulere. My office is down mainland. I will see him on Tuesday. It doesn't matter. On Wednesday. But he left everything, still come on Tuesday, knowing that I'll be in church on Wednesday over the matter that has already been resolved. You see, when God cares about some people and bless them, sometimes we wonder why. Because we feel by our works we deserve better. But God says it's by your heart, it's not by your works. That means his heart towards me is fantastic. Unlike those that feel that they are entitled. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I told you the story of Zacchaeus last week. Zacchaeus heard about Jesus. A rich man, a big man, had to climb tree. How many rich men would do that today? He brought himself low because he wanted to have a relationship with Christ. Many rich people say, I heard about, can you invite him to my house? All those that got something from Jesus that are rich are those who, first of all, value the relationship more than what they can get. They wanted the relationship more importantly than what they think they can benefit from him. Am I making sense to you? More, unfortunately today, many people want to come into your life and have a relationship with you, not because they value the relationship of being close to you, but the fact that what they are likely to get by being close to you. And so when you fail them, and people like that, they may be with you for 10, 20, 30 years. It's only a matter of time they will walk out one day. When the feeling of entitlement is not being satisfied. Are you hearing me this morning? If you're hearing me, shout hallelujah. Hallelujah. When you appreciate a relationship, when the relationship is more important to you than what you can get, you know what happens? You will take the worst of that relationship. You can take the worst from that person. No matter what that person does to you, you will take it in. Why? Because the relationship is more important. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why do you think God takes the worst from us? Because he appreciates and he values our relationship much more than even the things that we are doing that is paining him. If not, God should have discarded of us a long time ago. Are you following me? Am I making sense to you? When people can easily walk out on you for one reason or the other, you never had a relationship. If they tell you they love you, it's at the tip of their tongue. It's all a lie. Some of our mothers in the past who found themselves in troubled relationships by marriage, they stayed in the relationship. You know why? Because they value the relationship. They understand the need for that relationship, even for the sake of their children. They are able to take in the pain for the sake of keeping the relationship. They took in the pain because they want to keep the relationship. They could have easily walked away. Am I making sense to you? This feeling of entitlement is so that because of what you expect and you don't get, you start feeling disgruntled. Start feeling disgruntled. And of course, what happens at the end of the day, you walk out on the relationship. That's why some of you, when people walk out on you, that you don't even expect they can walk out on you because of the way they've been with you, because of the things they've been saying, you get so disturbed and say, you mean this person can say this person can actually leave you after everything, and you thought this was, because you were the one that was in relationship with them. They were never in relationship with you. They were just in your life for what they can get from you. That's why they can easily walk away without looking back. You see, relationship is not that easy to break. Oh my goodness, you have a relationship and you just walk away like that. You can't be normal. Even you that you have a genuine relationship with them, when they walk away from you, even after doing you bad, you still find it difficult to forget it. It's still paining you for many months. How much more those who just easily walk away? It just shows they never had a relationship. They never. So let us wake up to reality That many of the pain we are crying to, many of the pains we are going through today as a result of people that worked out on us, it is not even worth it. They don't deserve it. Because they never had a relationship. We thought they had, but they didn't have. Are you following me this morning? And it's all based on their heart. Their heart is not good. Their heart is only about what they can get. You don't need people like that in your life. You don't need people like that working with you. Because they will never be committed to the progress of the business. Another area we need to consider is this. You see, when we are in a position to be a blessing to others, one of the things we should consider is that we should see it as a privilege. That God has given us a privilege to be a blessing to others. And it's a privilege because by what we are going to do to that person, we are going to receive so much blessing. Perhaps sometimes being opportunity for you to be a blessing to someone is an answer to your prayer for God to bless you. Because when God is going to answer that prayer, he will give you someone to be a blessing to, through whom you will be blessed. Am I making sense to you? So that's why I say it's a privilege. Now, because God has used you to bless someone, doesn't necessarily give you a right of entitlement over that person. Are you following me this morning? Because many of you, because God has used you to be a blessing to someone, you now feel you are entitled. You now feel having a feeling of entitlement where that person is concerned, that he or she, you deserve so and so from that person. And when that person is not giving it to you, you get angry. And the relationship doesn't mean anything to you again. Whereas, it was that relationship based on what that God brought him to you to do something for. God has blessed you already. You have received the blessing, but you didn't know that that was why you got that blessing. Now you want ice cream on top. By turning the person into a slave. That you, after all, you are entitled to this. When you are a blessing to others, you are doing it for God. And it's the same God that will bless you in return. So when you do things for people, appreciate that God has blessed you. And also give you a chance to be a blessing to others. You are only able to do what God has made it possible for you to do. So God has first blessed you so that you can bless this sister. And in blessing this sister, he now blesses you more. Then you now say, because you have blessed this sister, can you imagine how greedy and selfish and wicked human being can be? And it's all about the heart. After all, I've done this for you, so I'm entitled to you kneeling down for me every morning. Did you get what I'm trying to say? Then you need to ask yourself, how much of what you deserve you are requiring, or you think you are entitled for? And you are asking that lady, how much of it did you give to God for what he did for you? How much? In terms of honor and respect, do you honor and respect God to that level? Are you following me this morning?
Yes, sir.
Don't destroy the relationship because of any false feeling of sense of entitlement. Relationship is much more important than the benefits or what you think you get from it. Am I making sense to you this morning?
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, many churches are responsible for their members developing that feeling of entitlement. Because when you place too much emphasis on money, and people give money, sometimes they start having a feeling of entitlement, that because I did this, then I'm entitled to be treated differently. And so they are not looking at their relationship with the church anymore as, thank God that I'm in this church, Thank God I have a relationship with my servant of God. I can call him anytime. I can walk to him. I can discuss with him. I consider it a great privilege. They are not looking at it from that point anymore. They are looking at it from the point that I'm entitled to him to see me at any time because of what I'm doing for him. And that's why we get it wrong. Nothing we are entitled to because of what we do for God. Because even whatever we do for God is nothing compared to what he has done for us. We are not entitled to any zip, zap, zero. And so it's the same with the church. Oh, because I do this for the church, and my pastor, I am entitled to pastor. When I knock on his door, he should open the door for me. When I do this, it's a privilege. It's not that you are entitled to, because when you really look at it, what have you done for him that he has not done 10 times over for you? You want to pay him for the time he prays for you? You want to pay him for the time he worries over you? You want to pay him for what is it that you can pay him for? If you have to put it by payment, then you now do one thing. You forget even the fact that it is that anointing under which you are prospering. No? Pay for the anointing now. Pay for the service. Thank God for the relationship. Maintain the relationship. Are you following me this morning? Those amongst your friends that have sense of entitlement, they are the worst to manage. You can't manage them. Every time they're always grumbling. What is it now? It's just that I'm just wondering, that thing that you said you are going to do for me. So when are you going to do it? But I promise you now. It's just that you see, time is going, and you know that it's only you. Because if not for you, I would have gone somewhere else by now. And I know that they will have done it for me. It's the indirectly telling you that by staying with you, I'm entitled to you to have done it since. It can be irritating. It can be annoying. It can be frustrating. Sometimes you feel that say, you know what? Get out. Go. I don't even want to again. Go and look for someone else. I'm not doing it again. Sometimes you feel like saying that. That is how horrible they can be. Because they are drumming it on your ears. They are the worst to manage. Because they believe that they've done certain things for you, and so you should do it for them. Or sometimes they do wrong. Their children did wrong, and you now spoke against it. I'm so disappointed, Shan. So disappointed, Shan. Say what? Because I would have expected that, even if yes they did it, I would have expected that you would have at least, because of how long I've been with you, because of how you and I, because they feel entitled that because of they have a relationship with you, then you should overlook they are the worst to manage. They will take it to hell before you know it. Am I making sense to you? Or you are going out with a sister. So when are you buying me that bag now? I told you I don't have money yet. That's all you sold last week. You said it last month. You've been saying for the last 3 months now. When are you going to get the money now? And you know that I will have gotten this money. I will have gotten money because I know what my mates are doing. It's because of it that I decided to keep myself. My boss, if I had followed him, that my former boyfriend, I know what he used to do for me. Get out! Get out! I don't need you. They are irritating. Sense of entitlement. I'm doing you a favor because I'm going out with you. Because they are busy reminding you that the relationship they have with you is based on a favor, that they are doing you a favor by having a relationship with you. It's a favor as far as they are concerned. Yes. Am I reaching you this morning?
Yes, sir.
I hope what you are hearing this morning, you are going to put it to practice. Because there are some relationships you are going to put X. And then you now begin to understand the reason why some people are behaving the way they are behaving. Are you following me this morning? If you have a relationship with people like this as a servant of God, they can easily take you to hellfire. In fact, you are in hell. You're already in hell from earth. Before you enter hell, when you die. Am I making sense to you? Because I did this for you. Because I did that for you. I want to show you something in the scriptures. In 1 Corinthians 9, 6 to 13, those who make a demand on you, because they've done this for you, because they've done that for you. Let me relate it to those who make a demand on the servant of God, because of what they have done for him. Let me read in 1 Corinthians 9, 6 to 13. Or is it only Barnabas and I who don't have any rights? Except to find work to support ourselves? It was a question. Does a soldier ever serve in the army at his own expense? Does anyone plant a vineyard and not eat of the grapes? Does anyone take care of a flock and not drink the milk from the sheep? Am I merely stating some human rule? Don't Moses' teaching say the same thing? Moses' teaching say, never muzzle an ox when it is threshing. When it's threshing grain. God's concern isn't for oxen. Isn't he speaking entirely for our benefit? This was really for our benefit, so that the person who plows or threshes should expect to receive a share of the crop. If we have planted a spiritual seed that has been of benefit to you, is it too much if we receive part of the harvest from your earthly goods? If others have the right to accept this from you, don't we deserve even more? We haven't used our rights. Instead, we put up with anything in order not to hinder the good news that we preach to you. We don't even say, do this for us. We didn't say, because we have done this, we are entitled to this, you must do this for us. Rather, we even put that aside. We suffer because we don't want you to think that that is what the whole message is all about. Yet, when you now do one small thing that we didn't even force you to do, you now want to lord it over us and start having a feeling of entitlement that, after all, maybe I did this, so you are supposed to do that. When you do things in the church or for the servants of God, you are doing it for God. It doesn't give you any feeling of entitlement. Are you following me this morning? A woman dated one of my sons in those days when we were in fellowship. She was a member of the church. And this lady was married. But not together with the husband. And then he was not dating this man who is married. And she will even go to their house, spend the night and eat. They took her to be family friend. So one day in the night, God spoke to me and showed me the revelation. So I called him. I said, I want to see him immediately. First thing in the morning, he must come to my house. He came and I told him, what is this that you have done? This is what God told me you are doing. And he said to me, it is true. So I called the woman and I spoke to both of them to end it immediately. They had gone far. He was even going to take him to go and take Chita to the Abeokuta. When I said this to the woman left. She now wrote me a letter less than an hour later that she has sat down to calculate all the money she spent in church. So far, in the last 3 months, she became a member of the church. And the amount of tithe she has paid. I didn't know that some people record it. You are laughing. You'll be surprised that there are some people among you that record it as well. They call it prudency. They call it spreadsheet. I wonder when you begin to calculate how much you spend for God, I wonder if God were to calculate how much He spent on you, would there be any sheet to contain? I was surprised. On so date, so. On so date, so. On so date, so. He calculated everything and sent it to me that I want my money back in less than 24 hours. He said, because if you want to deny me of what I'm entitled to, what I think is my benefit by being in the church, then I don't see any reason why the church should have my money. I laughed. I laughed. I said, you did it to the wrong person. How many hours did you give me? 24 hours. I'll get it to you in 1 hour. Under 1 hour, there was no traffic. I think there was a bad. I don't know what was going on. And God knows how to. God will always make provision. Allah to be loved. He knew what was going to happen. He had made provision already for it. I took Okada from Sulere to Maryland. I wrote a note in reply, and I gave that money to the last couple. She felt entitled because of what she has done. Idiot. She's a fool. First and foremost, my relationship in your life. How do you see it? Do you see yourself privileged and lucky to have me as a servant of God and that we are close? Or your thoughts is about what you can get from me because of our closeness, and you are forgetting the benefit of the anointing? Then that is madness. That is foolishness. Am I making sense to you this morning? If you are hearing me, shout hallelujah. In one of our sermons that was on YouTube, somebody said to me, in Nigeria said to me, he said, Pastor, I listened to your sermon on YouTube. You won't preach this sermon in America. I said, why? He said, people won't come to church. I said, how would they not come to church? I thought it's better. He said, it's not Nigerians that are here that have come there. And by the time they make small money and they are okay and they don't need to they don't know NEPA issue, nothing is really, they've gotten their papers. They want you to be treated as God inside the church. And when you now talk and preach like this, they will just walk away. I say, well, thank God it's not by numbers. Are you following me this morning? Thank God it's not by what? When you appreciate relationship, you will take the worst from that person in relationship with. Even when the word seems hard, or even when the word offends you. If Felix appreciates my relationship with him, no matter whatever I say to Felix, as painful as it may be, it will only hurt him for a while, but he will rise above it because he wants to keep that relationship. Yes, am I right? Yes, sir. But when the relationship doesn't mean anything to you, when your ego and your pride is more important than the relationship, then you can easily say, to hell with the pastor. Are you following me this morning? And in this case, who is the loser? The person. Those with good hearts, they never feel entitled. They always appreciate relationship. And they will always do things to show that they appreciate that relationship. Because of the fact that Zacchaeus showed that he appreciated the relationship of Christ. When Jesus said to him, today I'm coming to dine in your house. That was the first thing Jesus said. I'll be dining in your house because I can see that you are desperate to have a relationship with me. He says, I'll be coming to dine in your house. And people started grumbling. How can he have a relationship with someone that's a sinner? Because they felt that he shouldn't have a relationship. They forget that all Jesus wanted was to have a relationship with even the sinner, to make them to go to heaven. He wasn't looking for a relationship with people that thought they were there, but those who are sinners, to get them to his Father. People have often questioned, why would pastor be close to this person? All these bad people. Why would pastor even associate himself with them? This is the reason why I have been called in the first place. Are you following me? But when you really look at it, those who feel righteous, those who feel that they are better, most times their heart is not even as good as those people that they condemn. They were condemning Zacchaeus, Why would you have a feast with him? Why would you go and have lunch with him? Why would you go and have dinner with him? Zacchaeus came down and said, you know what, sir, I know why they are saying this. It's because of the things I've done. But today, I promise you, I'm going to return everything I've taken, and with interest. I wonder how many of those who are condemning him will do what he has said he will do. Why? Because Zacchaeus was mindful that this relationship with Jesus that he was about to have, he will not even allow what he has done in the past to work against it. He will not even allow anything to stand. He is ready to lose everything for this relationship. So he said, what? I will pay back with interest. But this dinner, we must have it together. Jesus said, today salvation has entered into your family. Am I making sense to you? I'm telling you, beloved, what earned him that salvation? It was his heart. A heart of repentance. A heart that was willing to change. A heart that does not have feeling of entitlement. When you look at the story of Abraham, in Genesis 15, 2-3, Abraham said something to God. He said, Almighty God, what will you give me? Since I'm going to die without children, Eliezer of Damascus will inherit my household. You have given me no children, so this member of my household will be my heir. It's like he was telling God, after all my serving you, what are you going to do for me? I left everything for you. Have had people say to me, Pastor, you know, it's because of this church that nobody in my family is talking to me. It's because I'm in this church that I lost so. It's because of so. What are they trying to say to you? They have the feeling of entitlement that you are supposed to do certain things for them. And because you are not doing it, they are reminding you that it's because of you. Relationship with people like that is very dangerous. Eventually it will break one day. It's only a matter of time. When people start talking like that, just so that you don't have a relationship with them. So, God now said to Abraham, say, Abraham, come. He was patient to explain to him, I will do it. Did I not promise you? And he gave him a sign to show that he was going to do it. Abraham said, okay, Mutibo. Thank you, sir. But by Genesis 16, just shortly after God promised him, he came back again. This is what happened to people with feeling of entitlement. They are always quick to come back quickly. You talk to them today, by tomorrow they are back. Talk to them tomorrow, by day after tomorrow they are back. They are forever in a hurry. When is it going to happen now? Because that is the basis of the relationship in the first place. What was going to happen, what they thought we were going to do for them. Abraham never considered the fact that God could have chosen thousands of people, but he chose him. He didn't consider himself privileged, that God was going to make him in father of many nations. He didn't consider that. He was only considered that, people that say, why, what are you, I'm entitled now. They are very difficult to manage. If you have them in a relationship, you don't have any relationship. I'm telling you this morning, you don't have any relationship. It's only a matter of time. They will work out on you. So God now said, you know what? By Genesis 16, since God is not doing it, I don't think I can continue to wait. They are bound to walk away one day. So he decided to do what he pleases. And he took Hagar and impregnated her in agreement with Sarah. Shortly after that, he started realizing that he had made a blunder, that he should have waited on God. When this happened, God said to him, you know what? Now that I know who you are, that your relationship with me was based on what you think you will get from me, and you have been showing me that you are entitled to this, you are entitled to that. You know what? I forget whatever it is that I've invested in you. Take it. I don't mind. Go. I'm going to look for another relationship with somebody else. God was able to count his loss. Take it. I don't mind. Whatever I've done for you, whatever money you've made, you can go. It's okay. I look for somebody else. So God left him. But Abraham continued to beg God for the next 15 years. That was why God considered him. God was ready to pick another person immediately. But this time he was going to take his time. I'm not just going to rush. Many of you pick the wrong people in relationship, thinking that they are there because they love you and they have betrayed you. Be careful who you pick next. Am I making sense to you? Abraham considered it as a sense of entitlement. I've done this for you, God, so I'm entitled to this. God wanted Abraham to serve him because he's God. Just the way he expects us to serve him because he's God, not because of what we think we will get from him by serving him. God has no business. God does not want relations with you that have sense of entitlement, but rather those who see him as God first and foremost, and that he deserves to be worshipped and served. The way Job served God despite everything. And until you're able to stand like Job in your own small level, when you go through your small pain and still continue to trust God, not thinking that, well, I've been in church for how many years? I've been in the choir, all my mates are married and I'm not married. I don't know why I continue to stay in church. I don't know why I continue to sing in the choir. I don't know why I should continue to. So I might have better even stop my services. That I'm even coming to church, I'm trying. God says I don't even need you in the first place. Because I'm not looking for such relationship. Abraham took God's promises as entitlement rather than taking it as expectation. There's a difference between expectations and entitlement. When I'm married to someone, there's an expectation of me from that person, but not an entitlement. Are you following me? When it is about expectation, well, I expect this. If he does it for me, I'm lucky. I consider myself lucky that I can still expect this from this person. And I will continue to expect, I'll continue to trust and pray. But when I feel entitled, I put time to it. That, what is this self? Then I develop attitude. Am I making sense to you? There's a difference between entitlement and expectation. Abraham, rather than having expectations from God, turned it to entitlement. Many of you, rather than having expectations from God, you've turned it to entitlement. Those with feeling of entitlement, they always develop a feeling of false importance. They start feeling they're more important than they are. Oh, if not for me, if I'm not there, you will see what will happen. I know what I've been doing in his life. I know you are not important. Anyone that has anything that has a replacement is not as important as he or she thinks he is. If God can replace you, then you're not that important. They develop attitude in their hearts over a period of time. While those with feeling of expectation see themselves as privileged, that they can still expect. One of my pastors was discussing with me the other day about a staff who developed a feeling of entitlement. You know, when you start demanding your boss, you know, that I did this, you know, if not for me, and start saying things to let them know that, well, you know, because of this, I'm entitled to this. So, you know what I've done for the company, what I've sacrificed, and start, you know the way you talk. So I told him. So he said, what should he do? What should he do concerning such a staff? I said to him, give him 0. Don't give him anything. Don't give him anything. He's trying your faith. He's anybody that threatens you based on feeling of entitlement because of what they think, they are trying your faith, whether it is God or that you believe in or in them because of what they're doing in your life. You need to show them that it is God that is doing it, not them. And they can go, God will replace them. Don't let anybody threaten you with such relationship. I'm entitled to this, and you know, if you don't do it for me, you know, I know that if I should walk away now, I know the company will suffer. So because of that, They're expecting you to do. If you do it, you'll be in bondage to them forever. What was Jesus' solution to this? He cut them off. What was God's solution? He cut them off. He told Abraham, you know what? Go. If that's how you feel, go. But don't entertain it. If your child comes to you with a feeling of entitlement, but daddy, you know, and so, you know what, son? I'm not giving you. Do whatever you think you want to do. Sometimes you need to get tough to bring the best, for you to bring some senses into the lives of your children. You don't buy your relationship with them. They are the one that should seek your relationship. Many of you are buying relationship when the people they are buying it from should be the ones seeking the relationship. Shout a glorious hallelujah. As Christians, we all want blessings and breakthroughs from God. We want miracles from God. But we need to ask ourselves questions as Christians. Is this miracle external or internal? Is the real miracle external or internal? All other demonstrations can happen externally. The real miracle of your life is when your heart is transformed. The real miracle of your life is when your heart is what? That is the internal miracle that gives birth to external blessings. Until your heart changes, no miracle will take place. We want to see all manner of physical demonstrations. The dead rising, the blind seeing, fire from our mouth. But the real miracles are when the changes start from the inside. When we truly can say the things we used to do, we no longer do them anymore. It means something is changing from the inside of us, our heart. And that is what gives us, entitles us to God's blessing, or God even paying attention to us. Am I making sense to you? And if you look at the relation of people around you who have that feeling of sense and entitlement, when they start changing the way they think, that's when you know that something is happening in their lives. Am I making sense to you? So going back to the condition of your heart, how it determines your blessings, as well as the relationship you have with God. I need you to understand that this has nothing to do with the enemy. Everything I've said so far has nothing to do with the enemy. It's all about you, your attitude and your beliefs and the condition of your heart. Based on the condition of your heart, what you feel you're entitled to. It was the heart of the brother of the prodigal son who failed to appreciate the relationship of his brother coming back, that would have locked him out of his father's blessing, because he was ready to stay out. It wasn't any enemy. It was his heart. Rather than rejoicing, he was angry because he had the feeling of entitlement. Am I making sense to you? That heart already locked him out of his father's house. If you cannot rejoice with me, why would you enter into the house? The father had to address the heart. Don't let this heart rob you of your blessing. Change this mindset. Change this heart. Rejoice that your brother has come back. It is more, even to the brother that came back, it was more about relationship with his father than what you think is going to claim or fight you over. Am I making sense to you? But the father counseled him about his heart. He would have been cut off from enjoying the benefits of the relationship. In Christendom, as I begin to round up this morning, there are various terms that we use that don't make sense. It doesn't make sense to people that are not Christians, and it doesn't make sense to people that are going to church but who have a regular habit. There are also words we say easily without considering what they actually mean. We say some words, but do we know what it means? Because of the culture and the type of environment that we live in, when we hear certain words, our faith doesn't take it into consideration the elements of time and process. So when God speaks a word concerning us, when God speaks a word concerning us, there are times that we have to not consider how He will bring it to pass. We just say that, well, God has said He's taking us to the next level. But how God will get us to the next level, we never consider it. 2 Peter 1:5-7 says, but also for this very reason, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue. Add to your faith what? To your virtue, knowledge. To your knowledge, self-control. To self-control, perseverance. To perseverance, godliness. To godliness, brotherly kindness. And to brotherly kindness, love. All essential ingredients for you to prosper in life, for you to go to the next level. Does it have to do with the enemy? Does it have to do with the enemy? No! When the enemy is not the problem. So you are thinking of advancement, you are thinking of progress, you are thinking of the next level. But do you consider whether you have all these ingredients? This is what the church is all about. This is what the sermon is all about. Always teaching you that you need to have these ingredients for you to go to the next level. But you are quick to say, I'm ready to ignore all this. I don't want it. I don't have to do this. All I need to do is to pray a prayer, fall down and die against the enemy. You will not move anywhere. Also for this very reason, giving all diligence. Yes, in all diligence. Add to your faith. Yes, you say you have faith. Add virtue to it. Add virtue to it. If you think, yes, I have faith, I have virtue, it's not enough. Add knowledge. Okay, yes, I have knowledge now. Add self-control. I have that one. Add perseverance. Okay, I've added that. It's okay now. Add godliness. But okay, I think that's enough. No, add brotherly kindness. Okay, I think I'm there. No. Add love. When all this is in place, then you are qualified for the next level. All these things mentioned has to do with the condition of your heart. Am I right? Am I right? What this means, beloved, is this. There are certain times we are not putting these ingredients into various things into consideration, things that we need for the next level. We are not putting it into consideration. And we are wondering why we are not moving forward in life. And the only excuse we can give is that there is one enemy in my father's house that is responsible. Meanwhile, I don't have faith. Meanwhile, I don't have knowledge. Meanwhile, I don't have virtue. Meanwhile, I don't have self-control. Meanwhile, I lack perseverance. Meanwhile, I lack godliness. Meanwhile, I don't have brotherly kindness. Meanwhile, I don't have love towards everybody in church. But I come to church and I pray and I think it is enough. God says you are wasting your time. This is not the enemy, this is you. The worst person to deal with is yourself. It's the most difficult person to deal with, yourself. Have you checked yourself this morning to be sure that you have all these ingredients before you start praying that it is one enemy that should die? You need to have all these ingredients in order for you to have the outcome of what God has anticipated for you. Yes, God wants you to be blessed. God wants to take you high. He anticipates all these blessings for you. But he's saying, in giving you all these things, you must have all these ingredients. If not, if I give you all these things that you lack, because you lack these things, the thing I give you will destroy you. Am I making sense to you? In the wedding in Cana, there will have been no need for the water pours if there was no water to put into them. There was a process that had to take place in order for God to bring to pass what he wanted to bring to pass. There is a process that has to take place in your life, in your heart, for God to put the blessing he wants to put in your hand, to put it there. First of all, certain things has to be right with you. Certain things have to be right with you. And it's not based on sense of entitlement. Because I come to church. Am I making sense to you? Many of us say we are going to the next level without considering what that really means. Next level doesn't really mean just elevation and things that are possibly better. Next level means that while you may be moving on to a better things, you are also moving on to a newer and bigger challenges and confrontations. Next level, you mean something better, but you are also moving to a newer, challenging confrontations, things that you have never experienced before. You are going to start experiencing it. Am I making sense to you? And when you move to that level, that is when all those things that God says you should have will now come to have effect, because you need them to manage that next level. Let me give you an example. You want to get married. You are leaving your father's house and your mother's house to a man's house that you have never been before, to a family you have never entered into before, to a new way of their doing things. No matter how much you have been going to that family, no matter how much you are familiarized with them, you still can never know them enough. So you enter into that family, new challenges, new confrontations, new task. Am I making sense to you? And then that's why they start introducing certain things to you that you never had or you have never done in your own family, and you are expected to do it. Am I making sense to you? Then you say, but you have moved to the next level, of course. You are already saying your friends have moved to the next level. But when you are moving to the next level, you are praying for the next level, you never consider those challenges that will come with the next level. Now God now says, that's why I said before you go to that next level, have faith, have virtue, have knowledge, have perseverance. Because I tell you, the things that you get away with in your father's house, you will not get away with over there. If you are not ready to persevere, the quickest way, the way you came in is the way you go out. Bam. Am I making sense to you? You see, many of your daughters are not facing reality, and you are not telling them. You think marriage is Coke and Fanta. I want to be MD. I want to be chairman. I want to be pastor. Okay. It's the next level. But have you considered the challenges involved? These are the ingredients you need to manage that position. You don't have it. Somebody says to me that I have experience. I say, tell me all the problems I've gone through in life. Then I will know whether you have experience or not. You have not gone through any challenge, any problem in life. You've been fed all the while. And I say you have experience. Oh, there. Experience, call. Experience thing. You think it's just said. To survive that next level that you are going, you need virtue, you need faith. I didn't know it was going to be like this. It is your faith in the system that's okay. I can see past. Let me hold on. I know that God will see me through. Faith keeps you. But it is not enough for you to have the faith. You must also have the perseverance. You must have the virtue. You must gain knowledge of the things you are not able to do before that you should not be able to do. You don't know how to pound them by them, but you must learn to pound them by fire by fire. In your house. Mommy, I'm tired though. Let Tika go and dig for you. You won't say it there. Meanwhile, you have entered to a new level. Is it not a new level? Which is what? It's challenges. This has nothing to do with the enemy. Am I making sense to you? In other words, even getting to that level, You need to talk about sustaining that level. Sustaining that level may have nothing to do with the enemy if you don't have all these virtues. All these attributes you must have. If you don't have it, you are not blaming which enemy? Now you. Because these are the things that is expected for you to have. Are you following me this morning? Position of leadership is not Coke and Fanta. We are now leadership. But have we ever imagined putting our legs in their shoes and seeing what they feel? Many of us, we don't take into consideration the new challenges or confrontations that will come with moving to the next level. We just know that we are going to the next level. Jeremiah 12:5 illustrates this very well. If you have raced against others on foot, and they have tired you out, how can you compete with horses? If you stumble in open country, how can you live in the jungle along with the Jordan River? Everything that God is going to do for you as you aspire for the next level require that you must have learned something in your present level. What have you learned so far in your present level that you are putting to practice to make sure that your tomorrow there will be no mistake? Things that will equip you to meet up with the next level. There are times that God will give you what can be called pre-test, in order to see if you are ready for the next level. Also, beloved, you don't get there at the time you would have loved to get there because you have not yet developed the right proper character. And you are blaming the enemy. Of all the things I've mentioned, they are products of your character. They are products of your heart. How many of them have you developed? And you want the next level, and you are blaming the enemy. Whereas if you don't have them, you need them to sustain that level you are asking God to take you to. Another time we tend to use is on the prayer of Jabez, when we say, God, enlarge my territory. An enlarged territory means a new dimension. New dimension doesn't only mean abundance, but new responsibilities. If you are not ready to change your attitude and your work ethic, then you are not ready for what the Lord wants to give you. Enlarge my territory. Enlarge my territory. Give me more children. Give me more responsibility. That's what you are saying. Enlarge my territory. Give me more responsibility. Because to whom much is given, we ask God for things based on where we are now, without thinking of what is down the road. And we must always remember what it says in Luke 12:48. For everyone to whom much is given, from him much will be required. And to whom much has been committed, to him they will ask more. On that day, some parents will actually say to God, if only I had known, I would have asked only for one child. I would have asked only for what? One child. Now, it is all these ones now that I have plenty. They are the ones responsible for where I'm going now. If I had only one, I would have been able to change that one. I would have been able to do this. But because there are plenty, before I attend to this. But when you were asking, did you know? Did you think about it? Many people think having children is for social, is a social, I don't even know how to describe it. To show people, show that it's a fashion show. I have children, Tunuke, John, Teresa, where's your brother? Where's Daniel? Oh, that's Daniel over there. Their senior brother, Emanuela, is at home. You mean, yes, I have 5 oh. 5 oh. Because to them it's fashion. And then you see mothers too. Grandmother. Hey, who is this? Oh, he's my grandson. Mama onigba. Because to them it is fashion. Because when you get to God's presence, you will know that it is not fashion. That those children mean so much to God. And the way you have raised them, you will answer to God. It is a 24/7 work. So rule that out. Think about it very well. It's not just about the money. It's not about going to school. It's not about buying clothes. But making sure that they have the right attitude. They have the right character. And you bring them up in the way of the Lord. Because that is the only way that God can consider you. And say, you're a good person. Because that which He has placed in your hand, the investment He placed in your hand, you did not mess it up. Are you following me this morning? Everything I've said so far this morning, does it have to do with the enemy? Does it have to do with the enemy? When the enemy is not the problem. This will be end this morning.